Welcome to World of Marketing Podcast, a Foster Web Marketing production. Here's your host, Tom Foster.
Hey everybody, it's Tom Foster on the World of Marketing, and I was just told this is episode 75. Can you believe it, Tricia?
It's an anniversary episode. I'm so impressed.
Big number there.
I love it.
And, I'm so excited to have you as a guest on the World of Marketing.
Yeah.
And
thanks for having me.
A lot of you know Trish because she's kind of behind the scenes in supporting Chad mostly and being his transcriber, actually being his boss, much like Connie is my boss. Tricia works with Chad and keeps him. And that's a big job.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. We try to keep him in line. We meet with mixed Chad. Results, but.
And Trish has been with me for 10 years now. And so, wow, time flies and just done a great job.
I keep pretending to quit and you guys keep refusing to accept it. So
that's how we do. No, what? No.
No, you don't quit.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that's funny.
I'll see you on Monday.
So yeah, she's part of the family here and has been for a long time. And I was involved in many of the important stuff that goes on here in the company. But this really isn't about that. This is about something else that Trish does that is really what I think is cool. And we're kind of talking about it because it is the time of year. And we participated last year, but kind of the last minute. And when you brought it up, and what I'm talking about is your Buffalo Stampede, and I will unveil what that is, and you'll help me in a minute. But that
building suspense.
We've got to do, a better job to promote the involvement, because I think it's great. What you're doing. And so why don't you tell everybody what Buffalo Stampede is all about, because I think it's a very, very wonderful thing that you do. So tell everybody what it is.
Yeah, so the Buffalo Stampede is an organization. We've gotten through our state paperwork. Now we're working on the federal paperwork. So soon it's going to be an official organization, TM. But it's just a group of people that our catchphrase is we embiggen each other's awesomeness. We believe that one person can do a lot of good in the world, right? And we see that all the time. But if you get a group of people together, all kind of moving in the same direction, or stampeding, as it were, you can do a lot more good without anybody necessarily having to exert more effort. So we're just a group of folks that look for opportunities in our area to be what Mr. Rogers called the helpers. And that can be anything. Basically what we found was that there are lots of organizations that exist, like the United Way or the Red Cross or those big national organizations, that when something happens or there's a need, they swoop in and they do the high level stuff, right? So case in point, last year, we're in Kansas and tornadoes happen and tornadoes came through. And so the Red Cross and the United Way and all these folks came in and got folks into housing. They got them, into hotels and whatever. Insurance was coming in to help rebuild. But we heard a story of one little guy in particular. He was about 8 or 9. I want to say he was 8. And his family had a 2-story home. And his bedroom was on the 2nd level. And when the tornado sirens went off, they took shelter. They were all safe, but the 2nd story of their house was torn off, and he lost all of his stuffed animal collection, which he'd been building since he was a little teeny thing. And I mean, the Red Cross can do a lot of things, but they're not showing up with stuffed animals. So that's where the Buffalo Stampede comes in. We come in and fill those little niches. So for this guy in particular, we put out word that we needed stuffed animals. New was preferable, gently used is fine. And in the matter of about a week and a half, we got to go visit him and drop off these giant bags full. We'd collected right around 50 stuffies for him so that he could start over. And his mom sent me the most charming picture. Once they moved out of the hotel that they were living in into temporary rental housing, she said, okay, we're putting everything in storage, bring the most important stuff. And the first thing that he did was gather up all the stuffed animals we'd given him.
Oh,
It was super sweet. So that's what we do, is we fill those niches where rapid response, rapid deployment, and just fill the little needs that the larger agencies aren't necessarily able to pick up. Right now, we're in the middle of our big holiday drive. That's kind of our biggest thing for the year.
right.
So we work with a local foster care agency that does, that kind of adopt a family stuff. And we sponsor kiddos through what they call their Holiday Heroes program. And we like to think of it as making sure that kids know that Santa can find them no matter where they are. Because when a kiddo is in foster care, they move around a lot. And one of the questions they get is, how does Santa know where I am? And well, if we can assuage that fear, then we've done some good stuff. So that's what this pile is behind me. This is all donations that have started coming in.
Is that all donations already for
Yep.
for in preparation?
Yep. Those are all presents that the kids have wished for. We get a wish list for each of the kiddos. And so folks go in and sign up to sponsor them. And those are ones that have already started coming in. My house will be an absolute disaster by the time this is over.
If pictures from last year, when when I started, or we started getting involved with, I know you've been doing it a while. So what is the start? Why did you start it? What's the origin story?
And what the heck happened to cause this situation?
Yeah. Like how does one go, from being selfish to selfless? And
one has a really great dad and a really supportive husband. So when I was a kid, my family, we had modest means and really modest means. But for Dad, Christmas was non-negotiable. So he didn't care what he had to do without, what he had to sacrifice, how many hours of overtime he had to work. Christmas was going to be great. And I remember one year in particular, I got a Barbie dream house for Christmas, right? The big, like 3-section,
I put a couple together,
right? The giant pink monstrosity.
Yeah. We still have one but the kids have outgrown it. But I'm like, I am not. That is like a museum piece.
True fact. I still have mine because my nieces
don't ever dismantle them.
No, my nieces didn't want it. I don't care. This thing, I will be buried with it if I have to. Right. But I got one for Christmas from Santa, and I remember seeing it in the living room and thinking, well, thank God for Santa, because I know my parents can't afford this. So, so Christmas was a very big deal. So
that's true.
Dad had.
I'm like, I'm not getting that for you, man. But
no,
like I got. You can ask the big man. I got no control there.
I got bills, but Santa will hook you up.
He seems to have limitless wealth,
Exactly. He's just making it all from scratch. It's fine. Right. Yeah. So Dad had health issues my whole life, most of his life. And so even when money was super tight and his health was on the rails, we still had Christmas, and that was a really big deal for us. So then fast forward to 2010, at the end of 2010, my husband, Nate, and I got married. We had to push the wedding up by a year because Dad's health was declining quickly. So pushed it up. He was able to walk me down the aisle. It was wonderful. But then we lost him the following March. So Christmas 2011, we're like, I don't know how to do Christmas anymore, right? Because without Dad in it, like, how do you even do this? So we said, okay, here's what we're going to do, because Christmas was a big thing for Dad. So somewhere around December 15th-ish, we said, we are going to go do one of those adopt a family things, because we have a little spare money in our budget. We want to honor Dad's legacy. Let's do this thing. That was the year that we learned that December 15th is way too late to do this, because the signups for these things tend to happen in around October, and then you gather in November, and the cutoff is like December 1st. So that didn't work. We bought a bunch of toys and took them to a local children's agency, and we're like, just give these to whoever. We tried, it didn't work. And then, as one does, we went to social media and said, hey, here's this thing we tried. Side note, didn't work. But we're going to try again next year, and now we've learned important lessons. And a bunch of our friends who are, of all the blessings on earth I have, the friends we have are just like top tier. I have impeccable taste in human beings. A bunch of our friends said, hey, can we get in on that with you? Like, we don't know how to do this either. Can we all learn together? And we said, yeah, sure. Like, teamwork makes the dream work. So contacted an agency earlier in 2012 and said, we want to sponsor a family. So they sent us a family. It was a group of, I think, 6 folks. And the idea was that everyone on the list would get at least one present. I'm like, okay, that's precious. Like, you want us to bring you 6 presents? Well, there are 30 people in my living room, so that's not going to fly. So we ended up bringing this huge box of, it was like 40 or 45 presents. We were all so tickled pink. Like, look at this great thing we did. And we had such a good time doing it. We're like, well, we should do this every year. Like, this is super fun.
Yeah.
So 2012 was the first official Stampede party. Took place in my living room, gathered all the presents for that first family. The next year, people started talking to us about it, and we said, well, yeah, we could get more people involved, and then we could sponsor a bigger family. And year over year over year, it's just grown and grown as people have brought their friends in, told other people about it. So that right now we have, let me double check before I lie to you, 226 members.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's just the folks I know about. Like, there are folks who talk to their friends without necessarily getting them formally signed up with the group. Across the country, we've got a couple of folks that are international. And we have gone from, 30 people in my living room to last year we had to rent out the kind of big multi-purpose room at this local church to have the party and to get everybody together. So yeah, it all started with saying, hey, Dad, you're right, Christmas is cool. And then the more people got involved, the bigger it got. So now we've gotten to the point where throughout the year, we have multiple opportunities through the year to help out. It started with just Christmas. And then once you get known as people who can help with stuff and who can help make little miracles like this one happen, then people start calling you for different things and saying, hey, here's this kiddo who lost all of his stuffed animals. Can you help? Like, as it happens, we sure can. It's June and we're not doing anything. Let's do this. This sounds great.
So it's a lot like a GoFundMe without, like in that kind of vein, obviously, but you're not like asking for a bunch of money.
Yeah, no, it's all crowdsourced.
Yeah, it's crowdsourcing, but it's a very special group. Like, for instance, you got to vet people to see if they're the right kind of people to be involved, because it is your club. It is your club, and
sure,
you're looking for a certain kind of person to be involved.
Sure, it's a little bit of that. A little bit too is that because people bring us stories of specific individuals who are confronting specific challenges, we need to be careful with that data, right? This is why, we operate 100%. Via a closed Facebook group. I've got an email address where people can contact. We're working on building a website and all of that, but even that is not likely to have a lot of really specific information on it. Because we don't want to be the people who are like, hey, here's this kid, here's their name. By the way, they live in Kansas and they're in foster care.
Right.
Do with that what you will, right?
Right, yeah.
If you're looking for a family that's lost everything, here's one now, right?
Here's a vulnerable person, right?
Exactly. Everybody know their name. Here's their face. No. So we want to make sure that we're really careful with that information, but simultaneously make it easy for people to help. Because that's the other big thing we've learned, is that people are fundamentally good. For the most part, they're outliers, right? But for the most part, people are good and they want to help. And the biggest stumbling block is that people don't know how.
Yeah.
Like, we heard there were tornadoes. What do we do about that? Like, should I send paper towels to somebody? Should I get, cleaning supplies? What do we do? And yes, the answer is give to some of these big organizations if you can, but we also don't want this to be, the Buffalo Stampede is not a pay to play organization. So if you were in the boat that pretty much all of us have been in at some point or another, where you have, $4 to your name, most of the donation sites are a $5 minimum donation. So all of a sudden I can't help again. Like, oh, but wait, maybe you have $4 to your name, but you have, that 10-pack of tuna you got on sale,
Yeah.
and you can
Right.
toss 4 cans of it into this donation bin that we're doing for a food drive for the local food pantry. Cool. Now you helped, right?
Right.
And it didn't
Yeah.
have to be a cash thing. Um, so we try to find opportunities for people to donate and give and be part of this larger movement, without having to just shell cash all the time.
Well, how does somebody get involved or get to know more about it?
Email me. That's the easiest way. You can email Buffalo State. Let me say the name of my own organization correctly.
Right.
How about that?
Uh,
Buffalo Stampede KC at gmail.com. KC is for Kansas City because that's where we're based. And I can let you know about what's going on at the moment, keep you apprised of upcoming stuff, get you added to our Facebook group once I get to know you a little bit, and kind of link you into all of that. For example, right now, we're not only doing the toy drive, toys and Christmas presents, we are also doing, there is a transitional housing campground set up the next county over for folks who are experiencing houselessness, as they transition into more permanent living situations. They had put out a call for like cold weather gear and first aid supplies and hygiene supplies and all that. So we've got that going on. We also have a collection of puzzles. As it turns out, the local VA hospital, they have some longer term residential patients. Um, and, once you've done a puzzle, like, it's not really so much fun to do it again and again. But if you're going to be there for a few months while you do rehab or whatever, like, you got to have something to fill the time. So we're collecting puzzles to go to the VA. And then the Buffalo Stampede itself has spawned a crafting wing called the Snuggle Up Stampede. That's a group of local crafters that all knit, crochet, sew, etc. And we work year round to stockpile cold weather gear, again, for
wow.
the unhoused community. So right now I've got a massive bin downstairs of hats and scarves and blankets and mittens
Wow.
that'll get distributed through various channels here in town. So there's usually something going on, and if not, there's something around the corner.
And that's pretty cool. So if you're like, if you're like me,
Hmm.
who I'm giving, I'm piling up stuff for Salvation Army, clothes and
Hmm.
whatnot. And usually that is I got to get it out of here mentality.
Yep.
But it's interesting because instead of just like, let me get it out of here to the Salvation Army or, like one man's, I hate to say it, but one man's, trash is another man's treasure.
Absolutely.
And that's a great point about the puzzles. I didn't even really think about that, but that's just
Yep.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Like I've got a ton of puzzle. I love putting together puzzles, but once. You're right.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
I'm not going to go like that. Like I got a puzzle that tortured me for a month. That there's no way I'm ever going to do that thing again. But
Right.
I'd like it's just sitting there.
Hmm.
I'd love to send that to somebody
Yeah.
for somebody else to be
Honestly,
tortured
yeah.
by. I would
Check
dig
with
that.
your local VA or senior center,
Yeah, but
because
that's
those two are always looking for puzzles.
so it's just a very refreshing kind of way to look at being charitable, being
Hmm.
giving, being giving. Um, and, I want to kind of bring this back to um, Well, first of all, I want to say thank you, Trish, for being a guest on here.
Thank you for
We're
having
going to
me.
be talking more about the Buffalo Stampede. People are going to be seeing us participate.
Hmm.
Because I went ever since last year. I'm like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And you love to just kind of like, yeah, okay, what toys do these kids want?
Hmm.
Okay, let me get them whatever it is.
Yeah.
And
And I'll tell you, it is shocking
yeah, they're like,
how,
wow, yeah,
right, it is shocking how simple some of their requests are.
yeah.
Like
Some
last
of them
year,
are very simple.
right?
You're like, really? That's all you want? Like
Right.
a bologna sandwich? Okay.
Exactly. We had one girl last year, 2 years ago, that asked for the kids are given a list, like a form, and they can ask for up to 8 items. So you can ask for any 8 things you want from Santa. And we get some kids that dream real big,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So last year we had a kid that wanted a
Car.
TV
Yeah,
and a game system
yeah,
and
yeah.
video games.
Sure. Why
And
not?
because the Stampede is magical beyond even my comprehension at this point, he got everything on his list. So we rolled into this agency. We had to rent a U-Haul last year to haul all the presents over. But he got his bike and his TV and his game system and the whole nine. Like people went in together to make stuff happen. It was insane.
Yeah.
But at the other end of the spectrum, we had one little girl who told she could ask Santa for any 8 things. Her first wishes were a hat, a coat, a scarf, some gloves, and some boots.
I remember
I'm
that.
like, okay, honey bunch, look.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, you are getting those things. But what do you secretly in your heart of
Right,
hearts want?
right,
Because you
right. Your
cannot
fun
tell
stuff.
me that
Right.
a scarf is what you want for Christmas. Try again. Um, so we kind of went off book with her and got her a bunch of other stuff. We're like, sure, sure, go, whatever. But um, but yeah, it's fascinating to see what it is the kids ask for. I loved having you guys on board last year, um, because there are some of those bigger wishes that can be a challenge to fulfill. And if I recall, you guys ended up providing like 2 bikes and a Barbie dream house of all things. So we had these
Yay.
big giant boxes show up. Like, oh, what did Tom do?
Yeah, that's
Oh, hi,
fun.
Tom. Look what you did.
And so, like one of the things that we talk about when we're talking about marketing
Hmm.
um, is getting involved in the community.
Hmm.
And this is a really a wonderful, beautiful way to get involved in the community. And it's
Hmm.
not, well, I want to ask, is it hard to do? Is this a hard thing to
It
do for
is
you?
staggeringly simple, shockingly simple. Um, Here's how you make your own Buffalo Stampede in your own community. Ready? Super simple.
Very good. Good stuff.
Number one, if your heart is called to kids, look up foster care agency near me, and contact them. Go to their website. Odds are very good they have some sort of program where you can sponsor families or sponsor kids or do holiday stuff or mentor, or if you are called in that direction, become a foster or adoptive parent. My husband and I have fostered a few kiddos, and it is intensely fulfilling. It is a tremendous amount of work. But I love those kids and would punch a rhino in the face for them, right? And I have all of these kids now that I didn't have to give birth to any of them, which I hear is hard. So,
I have a lot of kids I didn't have to give birth to, too.
see, right. Exactly.
I'm with you.
I hear it's hard. Um, so reach
Too.
out to a foster care agency. If your heart is drawn to folks like, to working with populations like the poor or folks who are experiencing houselessness, um, Google, right? Like homeless outreach near me, or how do I help the homeless in my area? Food banks near me. They will always, always, always be looking for something. Um, if you're a critter person, one of our most successful drives was a friend had a local pet shelter that they were in touch with. And the shelter said, we really need towels and blankets. And it's okay if they're the old ratty ones that you have tucked away in the basement. I tell you what, you tell your friends that you are willing to take all of their old ratty towels and blankets off their hands, you end
Exactly.
truckload real fast.
For kittens. Give
Right.
me your ratty towels. We have kittens to make warm.
They will make drives past your house
Right?
and throw things
Kittens
like
and puppies.
it becomes a situation in a quickness. So we showed
Yeah.
up with these giant bags of towels. And we're like, we may have made a mistake asking you for this. We're like, you're
Bring us your
welcome.
dirty.
Right. So
Wow.
just Google the organizations near you that exist. And once you've done that, talk to your friends. Because one person can make a decent amount of difference, right? Like I have probably 5 ratty towels in my closet right now. But 10 people who each have 5 ratty towels, or 100 people who each have 5 ratty towels, 100 people who each buy one Christmas present for a kiddo, suddenly you've got something pretty big going.
Yeah.
And people are always looking for ways to help when they just need the information, the opportunity. So that is literally all it is. 2-step process. Find a thing, do the thing with your friends, and then
And
they'll
do
tell
things
their
from your
friends.
heart, I would say. You want to make sure it's from your heart.
Hmm.
And I mean, like everybody that's watching this video can see, like the beginnings of the holiday magic event
Hmm.
being prepared in the back,
Hmm.
organized.
Hmm.
Now, Trish is a very busy woman, and we keep her very busy.
Hmm.
But she has also found the time to do this other thing and take care of her family so don't use the excuse that there's no time for this if it's something that you truly care about, and it should be something that you truly care about. You want to be authentic, but getting involved in the community is a endlessly rewarding um, journey, because one, it is you're feeling well, you're helping out, obviously, and that makes most normal people feel good. If you're one of those people that has no empathy, I'm sorry, don't even listen. You're not even listening to
Tuned
this.
into the wrong episode. Try
You were
again.
like, I'm not listening to this crap.
Right.
Helping people is not for me.
We
I'm
lost you a
all
long time ago.
Yeah, I'm all about me. But and also and well, if you're all about you, the benefits of getting involved in the community is tremendous
Mhm.
marketing
Absolutely.
benefit.
From a purely pragmatic standpoint,
Yeah.
having your name in the newsletter
Yes.
of this organization that you helped gets your name out there real
Yeah.
far for not a whole lot of effort.
Yeah.
So,
And you might be able to get you know customers or through the organization that you're getting involved in. You just never know. I mean, like, and
mhm,
plus, if you're the backlinks opportunity and whatnot.
mhm,
Anyway, there's that's a conversation for another time about how to do it. But um, Trish, I really appreciate you being a part of FWM, being in our family, for sharing this part of your world with us and letting me participate in this.
yeah,
And
I love it. I
doing,
love it.
yeah, I love it too. And I love you and I love what you're doing. And
Right
yeah,
back
we
at you.
appreciate you so much. Okay,
That's one of
so
the
it's
things I really appreciate about Foster Web Marketing, if we're honest, is that you were encouraging community involvement long before I ever stuck my head up and told you, oh, by the way, this is a thing I do. Um,
I know
two,
I remember like being upset, like, really? Now what were you waiting for? Like, what?
excuse me,
Yeah,
like, do
yeah.
you think I don't
You were
care about
vetting
people?
me.
That's true. I had to give you eight
You were
years to prove yourself.
qualifying me. Yeah.
um, but I love it that you encourage community involvement. I love it, and I should say we, but I love it that we put our money where our mouth is. Like I've seen the good things that we've done, and will continue to do. Sometimes because it gets delivered to my doorstep. So I'm not bad about that. And I love it that this job, because of its nature, um, provides me with a certain amount of flexibility in my days. So yeah, there are days when I'm in back-to-back calls with Chad. Pray for me, y'all. But
Yeah,
there
there
are
you go.
days when I've got an hour in the afternoon, and so I can go do inventory things, or I can, sit down and whip out a quick hat, which, to go back to your point earlier, yeah, do the things that you're passionate about. I would have crocheted stuff anyway. And so the fact that I can use that to benefit somebody else or to help somebody else on a tough day, great. Now I have an excuse to go back to the yarn store, right? Like,
Right,
I'm
right,
into it. Um,
right.
so yeah, so having that spare hour every now and again has been super duper helpful.
Well, thank you very much, Trish.
Thank you.
And it is Buffalo Stampede
Casey,
KC at
gmail.com.
gmail.com.
Yep.
We'll put that link down here. If you want to know more about Buffalo Stampede and how to get involved and how to help out some kids and families that have had rough times, it doesn't matter where you are. Just send her a note, and she's gonna make sure that you're not a weirdo. And if you pass muster, then she'll allow you to give presents to kids
As long as
or
you're no
whatever.
weirder
There's
than
other things
Tom.
that she's
That's
doing. And then if you want to just talk to her about how she's done it,
Mhm.
and maybe if you're in the middle of doing one yourself or you want some advice,
Oh, let's compare
um,
notes, please.
yeah,
I am always
exactly.
interested in hearing what other people are doing.
Yeah. All right, Trish, thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you.
And everybody, this has been Trish and Tom Foster in the World of Marketing, episode 75. You all have a wonderful,
Happy
wonderful,
75th.
yeah, have a wonderful day. Hey, and happy birthday, Marines. Hoorah.